How much money do various countries owe China? And when they default on their payments, what does China do? Well, that is our topic for today, and it makes some interesting reading. I hope you have the patience and the time and energy to watch till the end. It's just a 5 or 6 minute, I'm just joking. And this is a very interesting reading because we know Pakistan is in deep debt, but there are many other countries that we know, and also what happened to countries when they defaulted. That's a story in itself, because that will strike the fear of God in some of these high debtor countries. And by the way, this list does not include Venezuela, because Venezuelan debt is still not completely accounted for by various banks of how much Venezuela owes to China. The number is between 20 to 40 billion, folks. That is the story, but we don't know that for sure. We are just staying with the data that we can get from reliable reference links. Here we go. Who was Parashurama, who led a life of devotion, dedication, and daring? Why did he take birth on the earth? Was it to eradicate corrupt Kshatriya rulers who had become tyrannical and oppressive, or was it to bestow daya for the needy? The China Debt Index. Who owes the most and what happens when they default? Top debtors to China, no surprise, number one is Pakistan with $29 billion, Angola with $21 billion, Sri Lanka with 8.9, Ethiopia with 6.8, Kenya with 6.7, and Zambia with 6.1. There are actually many more countries. I can go on and on, but this is the latest numbers based on World Bank, IMF, and aid data reports. So what they had to do? Well, whenever they default, this is what happened. When countries run out of cash, these were the deals they had to sign. The port deal in 2017, unable to service debts of close to $1 billion plus due that year and facing a balance of payments crisis, Sri Lanka handed over the strategic port to a Chinese state-owned firm on a 99-year lease in exchange for about 1.12 billion in cash to pay other debts. So you wrote off this debt, I think, and they got some money also from China. And in that agreement, they had stipulated that no armed personnel, no army person of China will be there in Hambantota. However, if you go to Hambantota, I am told, reliable sources have told me this, that everybody walks there not in uniform but in mufti or in normal clothes like what I am wearing, except their bearing is erect and they look every bit like a soldier. So this is the story. Then the power grid. What happened to Laos in 2020? The crisis was that Laotian reserves depleted to near zero, and the state power company EDL owed $8 billion. Then what happened? Laos signed a deal giving majority control of its electric power grid to China Southern Power Grid. It is now effectively run by the Chinese state firm. And guess what? Everybody has to pay for their electricity or the electricity gets cut off. Then limbo. Zambia between 2020 to 2024 was the first African nation to default during the pandemic. There have been 4 years of chaos. China refused the haircuts, reducing the principal, and Zambia was locked out of markets for years. The final deal only extended repayment times. The full debt amount remains owed, which means Zambia still owes them a lot of money. So here are all the reference links, and I'll give you these links also in the description section of our video. Also, remember, this is there is this little matter of Bangladesh owing I don't know, now it's probably close to billion to Adani, and for that look like they have signed a sovereign deal. Does Mr. Yunus have the guts, the testicular gravitas to tell it to his people that now we owe a lot of money to India, especially to Gautam Adani? Well, that's the question that we are going to leave with. Let's wait and see what happens in Bangladesh. They do owe a lot of money to China. China will also want to extract its pound of flesh. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.